Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the PowettPlay Podcast. As always, it's me, Jordan Shannon. I'm joined by Kieran Powell. How are you, Kai?
Too bad, John. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you very much. On this episode, we're going to have a look at a bit of a comparison, with looking ahead to the World Cup, the T20 squad that would be picked if it was based purely on CPL performances versus, what realistically is going to be the likely case of them going to the World Cup. So if I go through the 15 what you picked, or you sorry, say you selected based on the CPL performances. Opening the batting, you got Andre Fletcher and Johnson Charles.
It's not in I guess what would be an exact 11, so you can just
Yeah,
read the team up.
I'll just read it. Yeah, and then you got Brandon King, Shea Hope, Kieran Pollard, Nicholas Pooran, Sharon Hetmeyer, Rodman Powell, Jason Holder, Akil Hussain, Obed McCoy, Roston Chase, Raymond Simmons, Gudakesh Moti, and Jaden Seals versus obviously the team that's most likely to, well, the squad based on what we've been discussing is most likely going Evan Lewis, Brandon King, Shea Hope, Sharon Hetmeyer, Roston Chase, Rodman Powell, Jason Holder, Akil Hussain, Alzari Joseph, Obed McCoy, Romario Shepherd, Gudakesh Moti, Shamar Joseph slash Jaden Seals, Johnson Charles slash Dual Andrew, and then Shafane Rutherford rounding that 15 up.
Yeah, I think just looking at the CPL and obviously there's been a lot of noise around I guess the
Yeah,
performances of players or lack thereof and guys that are more so 35 plus being the main performers in the tournament and a lack of, I mean, because people talk about young players getting opportunities, but getting opportunities and performing are two separate things,
yeah,
You can't just get opportunities because you're young. You still have to perform when you do get those
yeah,
opportunities. It is important to have senior players around to guide those young players into the next stage or phase of anything in life,
yeah,
I think that it's really, I guess, mind-boggling for me that probably the most impactful player in the tournament has been Kieran Pollard,
yeah.
because he hasn't been playing much cricket of recent times, and he's the one player that at 38, every time he walks to the crease this season, you know what you're
Something.
gonna get. And I guess that's a testament to him. Obviously not playing in the IPL and some of the bigger leagues anymore, but to still keep yourself in shape,
Yeah.
fit enough to be able to perform like that. He's closing in on Chris Gayle as well in terms of the leading run scorer in T20
Well,
cricket history ever.
yeah,
But again, as much as that's a testament to him, I think it's also an indictment on the state of the CPL as well.
yeah,
That someone that doesn't necessarily play as much cricket is, in my opinion, heads and shoulders the most impactful player
yeah.
in the tournament thus far. So I think that if we were to select based on the CPL and everybody playing the CPL being available, we're talking obviously West Indian players,
Yeah, yeah,
Akaran Pollard and Nicholas Pooran. I think there were three other guys that Andre Fletcher.
yeah,
Um, I think there were two other guys. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. If you could just look at the list while I'm talking,
yeah,
those are guys that have performed head and shoulders above the other guys. That there's some guys that you would hope to or want to see performing in this tournament that really haven't contributed as much as they should or as
no.
they would like to or as the public would like to see them do, just to be able to have that confidence going into a World Cup.
But how do you find the balance with that? So you look at that Trimbago side. You've got Colin Monroe opening batting with Alex Hales. You obviously have Casey Carty at three. Then you've got Puram, Darren Bravo, Pollard, and Russell as your top seven. Who, how do you find that balance there? Obviously, yeah, you've got Casey at three, but the rest have probably played a combined over 2,000 T20 games between them, sort of thing.
Well over
Well,
2,000
too
teachers.
well, yeah, well,
I think what the CPL could do to sort of break it up, because you see that, okay, this is one team, for example, that has a wealth of experience. You still haven't even mentioned Sunil Narayan,
well,
who's
yeah,
not really even had much of a part to play, and he's someone
no,
that opens the batting in the IPL, which is the toughest league in the world.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, obviously, you can't do anything for the fact that a Pollard and a Sunil Narine are homegrown talents.
Yeah.
But I think that the CPL, what they should do, because you need this level of experience, this level of mentorship shared more evenly. You want it more evenly distributed
Yeah.
throughout the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So if you can make it a thing where I guess you can only have two or three players over the age of 35 in each team.
Yeah.
So instead of just having a draft, you can have specific roles in a draft as well. You could have like your
Yeah.
mentors slash players.
Yeah.
So, and Andrew Russell would move to a different team, let's say. And Alex Sales and a Colin Munro may also move to different teams as well.
Yeah.
Mine, both of them are overseas players, so it may be a situation where you can only draft one overseas player over the age of 35, along with two homegrown players over the age of
Yeah.
30. So you have
Yeah. Yeah.
a better spread of experience because
Yeah.
ultimately you don't want a situation like what is happening this year where the CPL has been so lopsided. It's like everyone's just waiting for the final, for the semifinals and the finals to
Yeah.
come up right now because you
Yeah.
pretty much know it's most likely going to be St. Lucia, Guyana, and Trinidad vying for
Yeah.
the championship. You know, so it's been too one-sided, and I think that something like that can bring a lot more parity to the league, where you have
Yeah.
not only better balanced cricket, but better balanced mentorship for the younger
Yeah.
players in the Caribbean as well, who have experienced guys in their teams, as opposed to Trinidad having a squad that's played over 5,000 T20 games, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah. Yeah.
and other franchises having a squad that's played 600 games.
No, and I do appreciate we're not just solely putting this onto the Trimbago setup that we're discussing there, but the one person who I do think will be absolutely loving it would be Nathan Edward, and that's where the mentorship comes into it because that environment that he's around and that sort of volume of experience and understanding of the game, situation analysis will be absolutely phenomenal for him.
And he'll still get that even if you take away three of
Well,
those
that's what I'm
guys
saying.
from that,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you still got Dwayne Bravo as the head coach, who's
Yeah,
also played over 600 T20
yeah,
games, and he will be playing the same role as what Dwayne Bravo played. So he still gets that
exactly.
without having 2,000 games worth of experience stripped away from that team.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
As opposed to, let's say, a Joel Andrew, sorry, who could do the likes of a Colin Munro, who could
yeah.
do the
Yes.
likes of an Alex Hales,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
helping him to understand what it takes to bat at the top of the order
yeah.
in franchise cricket, bringing that level of experience, that level of calm. You've got more time than you think, different things like
Of
that.
course it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So
No.
I think even something like guys like Chris Gale, etc., that obviously aren't a part of the team, a part of the tournament, sorry, could be mentors for different teams or an ambassador for the league, and also help with the younger guys coming through.
Yeah, and I think though with the idea that you've spoken about there with the change up and a different sort of layout from a draft perspective, I think it'd also revitalise the tournament itself anyway. Because I don't want to speak out of turn, but from my opinion, just watching it just feels a very samey and a very like you said, I think what you hit the nail on the head where you're sort of waiting for the finals because three of the four are going to be what you mentioned, and whoever gets there sort of gets there, and it's just feels a bit like that. Whereas if you changed it up a little bit and that way, then as well, you're allowing that talent to then come to take that opportunity that we've mentioned as well. Um, but ultimately, like you just like I said, you're waiting for the same sort of same players seem to be scoring the runs and taking the wickets and contributing week in week, well, game in game out at the minute.
Yeah, and I mean, there's even further that they could go to sort of bring that level of competition up. I mean, you can have, let's say in the draft, you can have a West Indian batter round. So you have like the likes of a Sherfane Rutherford,
Yeah,
a Brandon King, a Shea Hope,
yeah,
Shimron Hetmyer, Rovman Powell, all these guys,
yeah,
all of them go in the same round. So for example, each team only has one of these players.
yeah,
The next round you have the all-rounders. So you have the Jason Holders, the Romario
Russell.
Shepherds, the Ruston
Yeah,
Chases. So so then that way you start spreading players
yeah,
around and you
yeah,
start spreading the balance of the league a lot
yeah,
more evenly,
yeah,
as opposed to teams having two, three of the best West Indian batters, also still having one of the best all-rounders and two of the best fast bowlers. You
yeah,
want more parity within the league. And that also gives opportunities for younger players as well, because now you have, let's say, one of the premier West Indies batters, two guys over 35, an all-rounder, a fast
yeah,
bowler, and a spinner. So
yeah,
that gives opportunities now for a younger batter or two younger batters,
yeah,
a young all-rounder, two young seamers, two young spinners to come in and be amongst the
yeah.
mix of all that.
Yeah, definitely. I think next year it could work out perfectly to make the change. Because I read this week that they are looking at that Jamaica are looking at bringing, a franchise back into the setup for next year, which will then obviously bring another squad of, well, they're going to have 15 players there, so that gives more of a wider pool of player opportunity as well.
I mean, Jamaica, I think, is a place that should always have some involvement, but
Yeah.
the state of Caribbean cricket, the state of CPL, I just don't think that it's the right time for them to be adding another team. I don't think
Oh,
that the
right. Okay.
quality or the standard of the cricket is high enough to allow you to then add another team, because
Right.
if people are already complaining about the standard of cricket, now you're adding another 15 players, that's going to dilute the cricket even more, so it's not I mean, Jamaica is a team and a region that I'm not speaking specifically to Jamaica when I said
Yeah.
dilute. I'm just talking overall,
Yeah. Yeah. Of
because
course.
Jamaica can easily have the likes of a Andrew Russell, Rovman Powell, Brandon King, all these guys go back and play for Jamaica if that's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're going to have the ability to retain some of their own guys,
Yeah.
but holistically, I just don't think that it's the right time. When West Indies T20 cricket was a lot stronger, when CPL was a lot stronger, it may have been an idea to do this then, but I just
Yeah.
don't think that's the right time now to do such a thing.
Well, I think either way, commercially, it needs a revamp, and whether that be like you mentioned there through the draft process, because they need to make it ultimately more competitive
Yeah.
across the board. Me and you have spoke before about the franchise dynamic. So you've got obviously the owners of various franchises in the Caribbean, and then the 100 now, and then also the IPL and the SA20. How do you find, when the Caribbean needs this influx of cricketing talent coming through, and you want to do everything you can to promote the youth and give that opportunity to really see if they can take it to that next level. How do you find the balance with this, from that commercial, but also between the big boys, globally who are involved in franchise cricket?
But I genuinely don't know, because ultimately the reasons for owning and operating a franchise are completely different from the
Yeah,
reasons of a domestic board wanting a T20
yeah,
tournament to be played. Owning and operating a franchise is a commercial venture for the owners of
of that
said
particular.
teams, as opposed to the respective host countries wanting to develop
Yeah,
their next in line or give opportunities to their top players. So it's not something that goes hand in hand.
no,
So that's where it's I guess a difficult thing, because you look at the IPL, for example, completely different situation where the Indian players aren't allowed to go and play overseas unless they're retired and they've served a
yeah,
cooling off period. So everyone is operating under the voice of trying to get better to either get into and stay in the
yeah,
IPL or get into the Indian team,
yeah,
as opposed to
yeah,
guys using other international
yeah,
opportunities or franchise leagues as a show window to get into the IPL.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's going to be. Well, yeah, I'm just not too sure really how it does move forward, for the betterment of CPL in general. but also then, like you said, from an opportunity perspective, with the players. I think that really sums it up. With the conversation that we've been having. The main point being, the from a experience perspective of so looking then ahead to the World Cup, and then not being potentially not being involved in things. But is there anything further else you really want to add to that?
No, I just had a quick thought on
Yeah, it's good.
a T20 World Cup team if it were picked based on the CPL as opposed to what may actually go and to see what players sort of would feature.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do let us know what you thought of Kyron's, the 52 15s that he mentioned there, and obviously the balance between finding, the youth of the Caribbean and the balance between the experience side of things. So do let us know in the comments, and we'll get back to you. But thank you for joining us for another episode of the PowettPlay Podcast. Thank you.